Where's China? China is a person, my nigga. China is more than a land, like Russia, Rus. Russia's about the Rus. The Rus are a people. The Rus are you, you know. We're under, these titles here, that become these land masses like Ethiopia, Eptios, this Greek word that was originally denoting a people. These Ethiopians weren't just these people from this place in Africa, Ethiopian, man, any so-called dark-skinned person, copper-colored con, it meant burnt face, you know what I mean? So it depicted a people, or at least a description, a hijacked Greek description of a people before you became endeared with, I'm Ethiopian. Like, it's a Greek word, man. Like, you can't fall in love with it too cold. It's not you, you know what I'm saying? It's more than a place, it is a people. China's more than a place, it is a people. It is the Khatai, it is the Khatai. And throughout, time, these titles have been stolen and taken, and the Khatai, the Khatai ended up being, referred to more hijacked regiments later, saying the Chinese today are not the Kana China that you see here, right? In the land of China. And the Ethiopians today are not the original people of this burnt face Ethiopia that they were finding here, per se. You know what I'm saying? It is these so-called Negroes in America that would have originally been, what they would be calling these Eptios, these Ethiopians that they're finding here. It is just, one of those vague terms like India. So let's dodge the hijack, dodge the titles, you know what I'm saying, and find the truth. Russia today is not the same Rus, right? Clan Ross, Clan Ciol Andreas. It's not what you see today as Russia. And the American today is not the Amaru Khan. Hey, rest in power to the 1828 Noah Webster Dictionary. Man, I'm still hurting over this. I would love to just pop in right now, but I gotta show you the book, right? I mean, they over there in Hijack City. But look, man, there's a fire dragon. There is a dragon. And this is a map of America. Let's remember that. This map of America and the way to China, as men believed it to be, which an old pilot showed to King Henry VII in the year 1500. A pilot in a 1500? I mean, that's for the Wright brothers. Oh, some people say a pilot just was, what they called the people steering the ships, I guess. I thought they were ship captains. My bad. Pilots. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Okay, man. I'm gonna let y'all have it, man. But, I think y'all trying to take us out the air when we know damn well there's dragons. And there could be pilots for these dragons, the dragon riders. China, right? Cathay is Cathay is also Khatai. All this just means pure or pure land. And the Grand Khan of China is in the Pure Land, right? So knowing that the Khan title has been stolen time and time again, originally by Genghis Khan himself, you know what I'm saying? So again, man, when you, first of all, shout out to my little homie in the back of the class, because, we always got the real ones in the back of the class. They got the headphones on. They listening to 432. They acting like they ain't listening, but they are listening, and they sharing the information. They got to eat the packs. They popping up. So shout out to you, my nigga. And anybody else picking up the investigation, man, Ahab to you, man. We started searching, back in 2016 or so, man. And, man, 6 years ago, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, welcome to installment number 82. We've taken our time in this journey. Enough to know that we don't have to have all the answers. We just have to ask the right questions. So, Don't be bamboozled by anyone, mentioning Prester John for clout, mentioning Prester John so that they can get, any type of attention or feel like they got some content or just get some information out. We know from day one it's been about the vibration, it's been about the search for HaWa. It's been about the order of things. And if you're not here for the vibration, then you're missing the whole point. You just want information. Get your information, get your ass up out of here. Because we popping off. Anyone telling you, oh, Prester John is such and such, Prester John must be, we still asking the questions. Is Moshe King David? We still asking the questions. Who is, what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we're searching in particular for us. Not just a title. We're not just searching for a title. We're searching for us. Because this nobility represents our queens and our kings. It represents our dracons. That's popping off, lighting that fire on that hijack. You know what I'm saying? And all the cons that's being called savages and devils with no cap on Antarctica's chest bone. Oh, Columbus sailed through here in 1492, and what did he find? The Chinese Sea. The Chinese Sea? Ptolemy's India? China? What does China got to do with Khatai? What does China got to do with India? What is Japan doing in the middle of Florida and the mainland of America? Because Managa, this is a map of America that King Henry VII is rocking with in 1500. And to get past Florida and Barbados and go right to the Chinese Sea, the Chinese sail on this ocean, and you run into the what? All the spices and the peppers. You run into Japan, the real Japan, not the fake Japan, not the fake China, because this is a map of America. You'll see how all this plays. You'll see how all this plays, Manaya. Who's China? We're still asking the right questions. So, yeah, dodge the hijack investigations, because they're not real investigations. It's just um, a syncretic a fusing of, bits and points as someone tries to, make their distinct viewpoint, into you. You know what I'm saying? But only you can investigate you. Others will try to investigate us. This has to come from within us because we have to be in code. We have to be in code when we talk about China. They understand that China is a man. China is a deliverer. Yeah, I mean that OWASP glossary had to get it, man, as we might start peeking in here as we got more of our foundation. First we had to get our code, right? Before we even talk about these other doctrines, because, all of it's all of it's hijacked when it comes to, the way they're translating. But if you have a dragonfly perspective, you can get the babies out the bathwater. And I'm just talking Moshe. I'm just talking Moses, because China is contemporaneous with Moses and Capelius. So this is another delivery. I mean, almost sound like the Cappadocians, this Capellion. But let's focus on Moses and China being contemporaneous. This is what's made this investigation so special, man, is that we're not trying to form an opinion. You know what I'm saying? This is just the wave we're surfing, knowing that we do it in order. Because in the end of days, what's the prophet Hosea, Joshua telling us? Yeshua is telling us what? Hosea is telling us what? All the same name. That you've gone many days. The children of Israel shall sit solitary many days without a king. So by the time we start mentioning the Presters and your nobility, you're so used to presidents and vice presidents, you don't know what to do. You're used to the government. You're not used to a kingdom and a council A wise counsel they call the nester, like the nest. Like mama gotta, you know, lay that nest right, right? Big mama. Cause without big mama, Solomon ain't got no kingdom. He's praying to Abba, our father, for Amma to, live within him, to, connect the ingredients to make a fine meal so that he don't gotta go many days without his kingdom or sit solitary. But Israel has sat solitary. This is the precipice. This is the beginning, the pop offness. This is the order of our investigation. We're not just trying to tell you who Prester John is. We are seeking. To seek, you got to seek with the right questions, and the right questions come from the right vibration that leads you to the right questions that lead to the right connectivity. Because after you've been many days without a king, prince, and all your priestly things, no sacrifices to help you out this time, Anak. No pillars, ephods, or teraphim. Many days, right? President Biden, President Bush, President Obama, President Trump, President, without a king, right? See, searching for a priest king by default, automatically we're looking for Big Mama. We're looking for all the big mamas, all the queens. We're looking to connect the queens and the kings so we can see the kingdom. But after all them days, afterwards shall the children of Yasharah, we're talking Israel. You're prophesied to return. This is why we popping off, you know what I mean? So it all comes back to this and up to this, my nigga, that we're seeking because we have returned, not because we're looking for information, not because we're trying to, bring, some type of scholarly such and such to our, nah, man. We are returning Israel. That's you, my nigga. I'm talking to the tribes. The tribes. The tribes have returned. Immediately, we had to KTC. We had to seek our creator first. That's the first thing you do. You seek HaWa. How do you seek HaWa? Exodus 20 got us in code. You keep the code. No power before your power. That's rule number 1. And when that's in order, you are now given, you're given the keys, right, to connect with Dawid. You can search for David. So yes, within the Prester flow, we focus on the Davids and the titles and, who's using them. We know that Genghis Khan started calling himself David. That doesn't mean he is David. He started calling himself the Prester, the Khan. It doesn't mean he's the Prester. It doesn't mean he's the Khan. Watch out for the false narratives. People calling Prester John Esau. Prester John must be Genghis Khan. Prester John must be what? He's stealing titles left and right. Is he also King David? Right, so who was he going to war with in 1202? Himself? Who was leading the Shishia? Genghis Khan was leading the Shishia while he was invading the Shishia. The Shi, I'm talking Almec, the Tangu, the Khatai was also led by Genghis Khan as he was going to war against the Khatai. Is he also Wang Kong? Is he also under Yellow Dashi? Right. So when they're stealing titles, they're stealing the throne. They're really playing Game of Thrones. It really ain't no game. They're playing Game of Thrones. But you need the KTC, and if whoever's bringing you what they think is the job ain't seeking the creator first, ain't in order, ain't at least attempting, then they'll never see Khandawi in this investigation. If you want to do it, if you want to seek, make sure you do this first as you return, because Israel will return. You got to seek, man. You got to really seek, man. You got to desire. To seek is to desire. You got to desire that code to awaken within you. That's the first part of the investigation. When you seek, then you can talk to HaWa and who is Prester John and all that. But a lot of people like to skip over the creator, skip over the code, and go right into who the Prester is, what their opinions are, and try to shape you into, the matrix of their syncretic opinions, syncretic opinions. But the true code keepers are in order, and they're humble, and they will come trembling to HaWa in gratitude, and to his goodness when? In the end of days. So when we talk about contemporaneous and Moshe and Dawid, and again how this book of Jasher has Moshe as the king of Cush, so he was on the front line fighting in all these Cush wars. He didn't want to have children with the Cushite queen that was given to him. So he ended up getting an honorable discharge, gets thrown in a dungeon for 10 years by his future father-in-law. 10 years he's in a dungeon. No one's feeding him, but Zipporah, his queen, is feeding him. She tells her father, yo, check on the Israelite man. He said he must be dead. But he didn't know she was taking care of him for 10 years. Nobody else was checking for Moses. So what do you think he was doing for 40 years in the book of Jasher on the front line? He just had his staff, or did he have a sword in his hand, my nigga? So Moses is a frontline king, man. Front line, a frontliner, Moshe. And that sounds a lot like King David when you start connecting these stories. And these are the questions we are digging on, man. Love to the Templar. You know how we do. Israel will return. Seek HaWa and Khandawi. So you got to understand the order before you even start talking China. Before you even start talking China. And we're confident cons, and we're confident in the recon. And look out for that reconstruction, pack dropping off, man. Yosef 9 Spiral pop off, man. Because tribal music, it's all the way up. Because it's all about the tribe. Because it's all about the deliverer, right? Why do you think the creator, through the prophet Hosea, is telling us to seek the creator and David? Why do you think Ezekiel 37, it's talking about one shepherd forever? Israel will have one Khan, one prince, Khan Dawi, King David. Take both sticks in your hand, right? Bring them together for the tribe. Tribing up. That's your shepherd, David. So when they talk about the fountain of youth and, this John the Baptist that gets duplicated in the New Testament. Shout out to Yosef the Real, because he completed the great work. Love to Hakon Higher Mark, reading through that Caesar's Messiah, showing all the phantoms and duplicates and this Roman hijack, saying, duplicating the Romani flow, duplicating Calais Luz, turning it into Camelot and King Arthur. You know what I'm saying? So it's all been duplications. Prester John dipping his tribe in the fountain of youth, living water, turning them back to the age of 32, became misconstrued as Christianity baptized and all this. So you have all these Christian, they must be Christians. They're baptized. No, we're talking living water. We're talking people that are 900 years old that turn back to 32 years old. We're not talking about dunking you in the name of the Father, the Son, the Trinity of this. Nah, man. We're talking about seeking HaWa directly. So this is what we do it for, if you ever want to know why we are searching and why HaWa got us in the flow. is that we had the KTC, we had to seek the creator. You can't skip over. But if you're going to pick up the investigation, or if you're going to investigate with us, you know what I'm saying? Um, make sure you got this order. You know what I'm saying? Don't just do it for the information, because we're going to sniff you out and it's not going to smell too good. You know what I'm saying? The Naga's nose bones ain't going to be feeling you like that, because we sniffing right through Hijack City. These are the end of days. And we just popping off, because Israel has returned. Let go. I'm just talking China. And I ask you a very simple question. Where's China, right? And we see China over the maps that are the maps of America, used by King Henry VII in 1500. Well, you gotta say, well, what has China got to do with Moshe or Mexico or Mexica? Why is it in the same land, right? And why is China in the WASP, glossary called a deliverer, a man of China, contemporaneous with Moses? And what is contemporaneous? Yeah, man. I mean, we don't have the 1828 Aquatai, but I'm just gonna say that we don't have it. I mean, we have it, but you know what I'm saying. But just know it means to exist or occur in the same period of time. Same damn time. Contemporaneous. Con, 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 contemporaneous. So if he's living at the same time, existing at the same time, in the same period of time, he's gonna have to think this through, right? I mean, I know all these doctrines got a high level of hijack in different ways, but this one at least seems to be adding up with why China and Mexico are always pretty much in the same spot. I mean, I can go to multiple maps and many that we've seen time and time again on that. Especially this our favorite map here, the British Museum map. Wow, I mean, yeah, we talking the year 1530. So the previous one is 1500. This is 1530, showing what? Marco Polo's Asia. Well, they're trying to say that this to the left is Marco Polo's Asia. You got the Bering Strait of Anion and all that connected with the Prester John right here in 1548, or excuse me, 1530. India Superior, where you got Mexico, and up here you got Cathay. So Cathay is what Marco Polo called China, but not China. Just like its position right here, it's the same as the position on the Kapangu flow with Florida, China, Florida, China, all in the same landmass that we call America or North America. Does North America even exist? Does North America even exist? Same position, right? China, Florida, bang. And Kapangu should be popping up right in the middle, right before you get to the mainland. So this Mexico Khatai connection, Prester John connection, contemporaneous, India superior connection. It's all happening. So why did they make this island disappear that's supposed to be right here near the mainland between Florida and would today be Mexico or Mexico? All this would be Mexico. You know what I'm saying? Man, I mean, where did it go? Same thing. Florida here, mainland, but you got this big island in the middle, which is Japan. We recon this, this connects to another land of gold, city of gold, but you would think they're talking about Japan over there, right? But nah, my nigga, as the story is told, it's all happening right here in the map of America. So by 1530, they done took this off the map. Or did it disappear? I mean, I don't know. And why is there no cap on Antarctica's chest bone? Or we just talking South America? Because, that seems to be missing, right? So, where they're calling Antarctica South America. Okay. Okay. I mean, hey, just asking the right questions. Who oh who was Prester John? Contemporaneous, existing or occurring at the same damn time, in the same period of time. Contemporaneous. China, this man, China, this man, this deliverer, this man, China, is contemporaneous with Moses and Capillia. He was to China a great deliverer. They're not talking about China over there, my nigga. They're talking about China right here in your face bone. The Chinese sell this upon this ocean, right? We're talking about China, America, China. So the deliverer being called China, remember, they wouldn't say the soft ch, it would be ka. There ain't no ch in our language, man. So you got kana, kena or kana. Dodge the vowels. You just got Khan of Khan. This is the great Khan of Khan, right? The Khan of China is like a pun. It's just Khan of Khan. Right here in Ptolemy's India or India Superior that we just got over there. So, and Cathay is just Khatai. They put a K right there, and you just got Kathai or Katai. They dropped the Y. You know what I mean? We're gonna dig on this Kansai some more as well. But man, Japan, land of gold is right here too. And here's Florida. And yes, here's a fire dragon. Let's go. And we got tigers popping off. I mean, it's a lot happening. It's a lot happening. So this China's a great deliverer. This Khan is a great deliverer who's living at the same damn time as Moses. So this Khan is living at the same time as Moses. He's also a great deliverer. And we see that China in the 1500s, well before this glossary is even made, China is America. And we've seen that multiple times. Cathay, America, right? Yeah, Prester John, who's the Khan of Khans? China is living at the same time as Moses. This Kana is a great deliverer. He was an Isu by birth and wrought miracles. So, this is where they're getting this. Put a J right there. You got Jesus or Izus, right? But we're not just talking the, phantom and duplication. They're just talking about, like a prophet. You know what I'm saying? This is their title for prophet. So it's showing you that when they got this Jesus popping off, he's duplicating everybody. It's turned into one Isu, right? But there's many Isus, there's many Khans, right? So there's many Mashiachs, you know what I'm saying? But there's only one that we're searching for in the end of days after you seek the Creator directly. Yeah. And he was rocking the miracles, right? Another anointed, right? What they would call Christ, which is why they're calling all these people Christians. But they're not talking about that Christianity that you know. They're talking about this anointed, this deliverer, this Khan who's rocking the miracles. The country China was named by him after him. My nigga, Ping Pao, after himself. After his death and his body was reduced to ashes, Jehovah or HaWa caused the wind to gather up the ashes and restore China to life for 7. Come on, man. Hey, I'm out of here, boss. I'm out of here, boss. I'm out of here, boss. I can't take no more. This is Prester John 82. Look out for Prester Pack 2. Make sure you got the fundamental foundational drop 1 through 61, I believe, on all of Prester John. Prester Pack 1. All the books, the drop. And we're going to continue that. I said every 20 or so. First I said 10, then I said 20. So I think we're ready for Prester Pack 2 after every 20 drops. Let's go. Yeah, I'm out of here, boss. So he died and was raised again. This Isu, just like Jesus. Say it with me, my nugget. Phantoms of duplications all over the place. He was raised to life for 7 days, during which time he preached before the kings and the people. Damn, he's preaching before all the people, just like Jesus. But we're just talking China. We're just talking China. This is why they're hiding the location of it and not letting the Khan, the American, in Ghana, China, in Khatai, India, Superior, because North America don't exist. They're not letting the Khan know about their David, about their deliverer, about the one that the Most High said you're going to be seeking, man, in the end of days, after you KTC directly with HaWa. I'm just saying they're hiding who you should be seeking, right? Searching. Because as you search, you look through all the wordplay, you look on the maps, you say, why is China near Florida, near Japan, near India? And what's with all these spices, just like the Queen Sheba flow? Solomon, what's with this Chinese sea? And why is that located in the exact same spot that the British have in the British Museum, where they have Prester John right in the middle with the same China, Cathay, India, Superior, Mexico? But China is contemporaneous with Moses. So it's all the same Prester, not Genghis Khan. All that invasion and hijack came after 1202. Pre 1202, King David, the kingdom, Judah, After that, yeah, you got the Confederacy, Psalms 83. And we're about to get into this, more and more connection, this Muhammad connection with Genghis Khan. And if you've been surfing the wave in the Prester Hour, fourth wave uh, episode, what was that, 27 we just did? I'm catching up, my nigga. I mean, we just popping off. We we touched on some of this car Khatai, quarryism, this whole KHIVA, Hiva situation, and you're gonna see how all this plays back to this Genghis Khan. So we're searching, and they got their own deliverers, and we gotta, get the babies out the bath water, get the Moshe out the bath water. But this Moshe or this China or this David is raised after 7 days, during which time he preached before the kings and the people. Then Jehovah sent down a ship of light and bore China up to heaven. Whoa, a ship of light. What is that? Picked up China. Kind of sound like Ezekiel in that whirlwind, right? And yeah, so they got a whole bunch of work on this China, man, and we'll get to it. You understand? Which, for now we're talking about a man, we're talking about a deliverer, a man of China. All right. And contemporaneous means he's rocking at the same period of time. All this is very important to pop off with. You know, I want to pop off with you, man. I want to do just a quick read into a little bit of what we were digging on in the Prester Hour and see if we can connect a few things with this Catan car situation and just really have a good time, man. Belly flop into some links I got up and just talk Prester. That's what we're going to be doing from Prester 82 all the way up to 100 and beyond, my nigga, because, the searching will always continue, man. I can't fool myself that there's ever truly a dismount when you are seeking our Creator and David, our King, our Khan. So understand what another, I'm getting back to this great book right here called Searches for an Imaginary Kingdom, The Legend of the Kingdom of Prester John. And you can get the joint, you can get the drop on Amazon. Let's see if I have it here. Here we go. So, paperback, 40 to 60 bucks. You can get it like that. You can get the hardcover for about 175. Why it's so expensive, drop? Well, you already know it's going to have a little drop in there. So, hey, let's surf the wave, and just seek and search. This is so beautiful when we can decipher some of these words, some of this flow, because these words come to life. We can get, our own understanding, overstanding, and understanding. We got to get the whole thing. So let's get a little bit of this war popping off. Let's talk Genghis Khan and let's bring it on in for the real thing. I'm on page 164. In the Kara Khatan kingdom, matters went from bad to worse. The Gur Khan's advances to the Khwarizm Shah Muhammad merely led to the strengthening of Khwarizm. By 1208, Muhammad refused to pay tribute, attracted the ruler of Khotan to his side, and occupied Bukhara and Samarkand. So we have this Muhammad refusing to pay tribute, very similar to the Genghis Khan story, how he and his, tribe didn't want to pay tribute to the Prester, and he was tired of being under the Prester. He wanted to make a move, right? He wanted to be a David. That's why the true Prester John cannot be Genghis Khan, because he was coveting the true Prester, who was a Khan father to him, like a big uncle, you know what I mean? So he wanted the Unc's title. He wanted the title of the Unk. He wanted to be the Ong, the Wong. Now, how does this Muhammad connect with this Khwarism, right? We're going to dig on Khwarism in a minute. How does this Khwarism Muhammad connect with Genghis Khan? Let's get it. The Muslim population tormented by the willfulness of the Khatai. So you have here that this population of Muslims, they feel tormented by these Khatai. And again, the Khatai is Khatai. Khar just means black or melanated. So Black Khatai, or the melanated Nagas of the Pure Land. You know what I mean? Now, who's taking the titles? Who's going under the title? When? That's what you got to search out. Because they say somebody is a Khatai doesn't mean they're a real Khatai. Because someone says that they are the Prester doesn't mean they're the real Prester. Just because someone says they're the Khan don't mean that they're the real Khan. But it's a more and more war. So, whether we're talking about the tribes of Moab and Ammon and the Canaanite tribes, they were having an issue. They didn't want to pay tribute, right, to the Rex Nagus, the Khan of Khans. They felt tormented by the willfulness of the Kara, Khatan. Grandees and tax collectors welcomed the Kharism men as liberators. That was where the troops collected by Kuklug among Genghis Khan's former enemies were needed. Now, they later say in the fine print, and I'm just going to go over to it right quick and come back, that this Kuklug, which they spell Kuchlug, Kuchlug, he was put together with this Ong Khan into a single person that they called King John or King David. So that's in the fine print that's what this particular author is suggesting. Or Ong Kong is Wong Kong, is Prester John, is King David. You know what I mean? So that's another suggestion that, for whatever reason, they haven't opened the avenue to at this point in their investigation. But we pretty much popped off with that. You know what I'm saying? So I'll read this piece. It says, Bar Habrez fused Kuklug and Onk, which they spell O-N-G, Khan. Now, interesting, they spell Khan with a Q, and I'm about to get to this, how they do this wordplay of interchanging the K's, the C's with the Q's. So Khan in this case is spelled with a Q-A-N. They'll also put an X over there. It could be pronounced with the she, like she, or sometimes they use that as a hard K. I mean, it's really crack, you know what I mean? So something might have an X, it might have a Q or a CK, and we already went over how the C's and G's are interchangeable. So you can also put the G, which is They're getting this Gurkhan. So Kurkhan or Gurkhan. So the G's, the K's, the C's, and the Q's, and sometimes even X's are all interchangeable. You know what I'm saying? To a lot of these translators, man. So just keep that in mind. Now, this Kuklug that we're reading about, Kuchlug, he says Bar Hebraeus fused Kuklug and Hong Kong into a single person. This was the image of King John, quote unquote, and then of King David. So who they're calling John the Baptist or Johnny the Baptist, who's literally dunking his people in that water, that fountain of youth, giving them youth. The Christians took that, made a phantom duplication as just someone baptizing Jesus, right? All right. This author's connecting to King John and King David like it's synonymous. Like, yeah, I know King John is King David, but how come it's not presented like that in the so-called Biblios, right? In the translations of the Bible, when they talk King David, they don't talk King John. You don't connect King John with King David. That's not an automatic thing. You think David is just its own separate story. They don't want you to know that they're duplicating that by the time you get to the New Testament, and this John the Apostle and this John of this and John the Baptist and Johnny to this. This is a title of a king. A Wang is a Juan is a John. Khan. So this Kukluk is very important because they're basically saying he is King David or King John. So let's get back. That was where the troops collected by Kukluk among Genghis Khan's former enemies were needed, but Kukluk embarked on an adventurous course. Instead of helping his father-in-law, he seized the Gurkhan's treasury in Uzgend, Uzgend, and learning that the greater part of the Kara Khatan troops were fighting the Muslim, tried to seize the person of the Gurkhan himself. This boldness failed. The Gurkhan was able to collect a force and defeat Kukluk. At this time, another Kara Khatan army took Samarkand, but the war did not end here. The Muslim again went on to the attack and were only halted near Balasagun or Sagun, almost like Sagan, Balasagun, and even that success was dubious. But then the mass of people intervened in politics and confused all their rulers' cards. The Muslim population of Mara Varanar found the yoke of their co-religionists from Quarryism worse than the yoke of the infidel. After several upheavals, all the Quarryismians in Samarkand were slaughtered, and their disjointed limbs were hung in the bazaars. On the other hand, the Gurkhan's troops rioted. After receiving the treasury from Kukluk, they did not return it to the ruler, but divided it amongst themselves. Then Kukluk renewed his adventurous policy, put himself at the head of the rioters, and in 1211 arrested the Gurkun who was trying to hide in Kashgar. Now, I mean, just reading it back into this Kukluk story, now it seemed like they said he was defeated, right? And then here he comes again, like, at that time, another Kara Khatan army took Samarkand, The Muslims again went on to the attack and were halted near Balazs Gun. Oh, okay. I mean, I guess he lived. I'm just trying to, get some of these fine prints. All right. So even though he was defeated, this Kuklug, by this girl Khan, who we talking about, right? We got to put we got to put the pieces together. It says, on the other hand, the Gurkhan's troops rioted after recovering the treasury from Kuklug. They did not return into the ruler, but divided amongst themselves. Then Kuklug renewed his adventurous policy, put himself at the head of the rioters, and in 1211 arrested the Gurkhan, who was trying to hide in Kashgar. Gurkhan was left his title and all his marks of his dignity, but Kuklug stood on a level with the throne, and matters were decided at the wave of his hand. The Kar-Khatan grandees, seeing the Gurkhun's incapacity, transferred their sympathy to Kuklug, seeing him as a possible savior. But he's talking China, all right, of the sinking state. Gurkhan Julku, Julqu, died in 1213, and Kuklug was unanimously recognized as the Kar-Khatan Gurkhan. So Kuklug became the Gurkhan, right? Saying 1213. So we can't be talking about the same David Soslan originally, that they say was either killed or defeated, that Genghis Khan defeated a David, not necessarily the Prester, but a David in 1202. Could this be, a situation where he came back in 1213? You know what I mean? Or is it a completely different, a priest king or a different Khan that is taking rulership, of this particular, tribe at this time? We're just talking about the Kar-Khatan. So the events described throw light on the naming problem. As we have seen, the Naaman fled to the Kar-Khatan to save themselves from the Mongols. Now, this part connects right here because they say that Prester John connected with the Naaman, during this Genghis Khan war, that they were, tribe. Almost reminds me of like the Rus and the Franks, who were both, intricate and working together to pop off these original Swan Knights, these original Templar. We're putting it all, on the table right now, man. We put it all on the table in Prester 82, man. I'm just going for it. You know what I mean? We just going for it, belly flopping in these books, digging on it. So last part I get is this, and then I want to dig on some of this quarryism. This quarryism. It says that they regarded them as fellow tribesmen. So they were tribe, these Kar-Khatan and the Naaman, right? Okay. Kuklug seized power, relying on the supporters of the leaders of the Kar-Khatan troops, which would not have been possible had he been a stranger. So he must have been one tribe with the Kar-Khatan, this Kuklug, which is why they're calling him possibly the Prester or King John or King David. Evidently, the difference between the Kar-Khatan and the Naaman lay in political, not the ethnic plane. So they just had a difference of certain, opinions, you know what I'm saying? But they were the same ethnicity. They were the same tribe. The Naaman, Naiman, are the Kar-Khatan. And I believe all this is connected with Israel directly. And this is where they're hiding the Israelite story, you know what I'm saying, of what happened in the last 200 or 300 years before Columbus sails the ocean blue, looking for you. This is what, this is the precursor. This is what's leading up to it. This is the meat on the bones that we've been missing. We've been getting it in our own, not theirs, our own Prester investigation. Allow HaWa. The religious problem is much more complex according to all the data. Koklug was at first a Nestorian, right? Here we go. Here we go. So this, they like to mention this, and you always gotta get the babies out the bathwater. You gotta dodge your own hijacks, right? So knowing the connection with the Nestor, right? The Nestor. Etymologies. We're always going to be going back immediately into wise, anything the wisest of the Greeks, right? They're using all this in mythological purposes. Let's get to the bottom of it, man. Name for old king, renowned for wise counsel. Blessed. Ah, yes. Blessed. One who blesses. Yeah, sounds like a priest king. So a Nestor is one who blesses. A Nestor is one who's renowned for his wisdom or his wise counsel. Yeah. So of course they got their own, Nestor in history and, connects with all their hijack and all that. But this is the definition we're talking about of who they're calling these people connected with the Nestorians. We're talking the Magi. We're talking the wise Khans, old kings, old queens, the Baruch, one who Baruchs. We're just talking Nestor. Khan. All right. Okay. Let's keep reading because we just surfing away. So Kukluk was first a Nestor, right? Nestorian. But after seizing power, he deserted his wife, a Christian, and fell in love with a Khatai who seduced him into worshiping quote unquote strange gods. Perhaps Buddha, they say. So now we don't know if they're calling HaWa a strange god. If, if the devil's calling us a devil and saying, hey, first he was a good Christian, but then he met this Khatai, who brought him into HaWa, or brought him into, to them, it would be a strange god. Or, are they saying that, he was keeping the code and, someone, who would be under the Khatai banner, but maybe, they were out of code, brought in literally, some, other power, you know what I'm saying? So we don't know what the hijack's really getting to, but it says thanks to the Mongol forces being tied down in China, Kukluk gained a breathing space and made use of it to restore the frontiers of the Khatai power. He managed to force back the Khwarezmians in the south and to subordinate the defecting principalities of the eastern Turkestan, except for Al-Malik, which had accepted the protection of the Mongols. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, right, these Mongols are connected right back to Genghis. So they were under Genghis's protection. But although a good general, Kukluk was a bad politician and allowed the Nestorians and Buddhists to start religious persecution of the Muslims who made up the majority of the Khatai power. So that's what I'm saying. So when they say that Kuklug went after this Khatai woman, within that title or banner of Khatai is more than Israel. It's more than Judah. You know, you got the tribes, the mixed multitude. You're talking Moshe, you got mixed multitude. You know what I mean? Some, might not be, what I'm saying, in the same code, right? But they might still be under. It's like calling it black people, right? There's different black people, there's different tribes, there's different beliefs. So right here we got really evidence of that even under the Khatai, you have Muslims, right? You got more and more war. You got Moors, within this banner. You got Moors outside of that banner. With the Genghis Khan flow. But they're saying that they started, hitting up all the Muslims, basically, or persecuting the Muslims that were within this Khatai situation. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, because it was a more and more war going down. And they probably didn't know who to trust, you know what I'm saying? But it says this separated him from the masses who transferred their sympathy to the Mongol Khan, Shalak, and at this time, very well disposed towards the Muslims. In 1218, Kuklug, catching the ruler of Amalek unaware, besieged the town where the ruler's wife, a Mongolian niece of Genghis Khan, led the defense. The Mongols immediately came to her aid, and Kuklug was obliged to withdraw. And at the first news of the appearance of the Mongol troops, the Muslim population started to slaughter the adherents of Kuklug. So as soon as they got the Muslim backup, these Mongol troops went to war with Kuklug and these Khagatans. They waited for Genghis and them, right? Or Genghis had to get his Muhammad homies, and they all went to war together against you. So there's a connection that we're seeing really, being defined between Genghis Khan and this Mohammedan situation, this Muslim situation connected with Genghis directly. I mean, you remember, right? You remember Khan? You remember what Genghis Khan looked like. Genghis Khan depicted as a black man, painted by V.S. Smirnoff in 1883. Okay, he's not some chubby Oriental, so-called, you know, uh, so-called Asian stereotype like they have down here, these Mongols. Why would they look like this and this is their relative, right? So, the original painting had all these were Nagas. All these were so-called black people. Then they repainted this thing, the iconoclasm, but all this is melanated, my Naga. This is supposed to be a Rus. He looking like Putin today. Nah, you know what a Rus looks like. I mean, this is Prester 82, so it's a family war popping off. Remember what it's looking like. Remember what it's looking like, man. It looks just like you already. We're just talking about Nestor, old king renowned for wisdom. So, we're going to dig on this Quarism right quick. Just, as I got before with the dismount and the Prester hour, I mean, it says Jacques de Vitroi, Bishop of Acre, in the letter to Pope Honorius III, writes still more extensively about, quote, King David, who was called by the people priest John, and like unto David, the holy king of Israel, crowned by the will of HaWa, they call providence. So the date of that letter is 1221. So in 1221, they're writing about the Prester. They're writing about Prester John, Juan, Ong, Onk. Emperor de los Abyssinios, which is a mixed multitude, like Moses, like China, the deliverer, huh? Same time. And before that, they say throughout the Christian world, there were rumors that the Indian King David called Priest John or Prester John. Indian King David called Prester John. Indian King David called Prester John. So is this the Indian King David or is this King David? Called Prester John, right? Priest King is approaching with a large force. He has conquered Persia, Media, and many other Saracen lands. Front line, right? Moses was king of Cush for 40 years. The press is on the front lines. David's on the front lines, man, at all times. So they're looking for his large force because they heard about all this, butt he's been whooping. He's been whooping up on all these sultans and these Turks, these Persians, these Medes, these Saracen lands. They know about the Prester. So the Christian over there wants help, or really they just wanted to get the drop on the cities of gold. They want to find the copper color ruddy Nagas right here in America because for some reason the British Museum has Prester John right where America, North America would be. Mexico, Prester, Mexico, Prester, Cathay. But where's Cathay? Where are you, my Naga? Because Cathay is where you at. This is the great Khan of China. And China ain't nothing but a deliverer, right? China is a deliverer. China is a man living at the same time as Moses. The Indian King David called Priest John on page 167 of The Searches for an Imaginary Kingdom of Prester John. And they're calling you imaginary. Your kingdom's imaginary, right? Prester's imaginary. He's mythological. He's just a combination of super nagas, right? Nah, my naga. The truth is, the reason why HaWa got you seeking David in the end of days, seeking HaWa and David, is because this is a super naga. You know what I'm saying? This is a naga that got supreme key, supreme connectivity, and literally got the keys to that water and so much more. One shepherd forever, Ezekiel 34. All in order, my night. This is why we're searching. This is why we're searching. So we'll pick that up in the Prester hour. We just been surfing away. And they kept mentioning this Quarism. So, I dug on it a little bit, but is first of all, we said, what does this got to do with the Korah or the Korah Khatai? Before they start talking about Korahism, it's letting you know. I mean, it's a giveaway that you're not talking about the real thing whenever you add these isms. You gotta dodge the issues like Jew-ish, right? And say, who is Judah? You gotta dodge the Karism and say, well, who's the Korah or the Korah? They say don't confuse it with Khorasan. Why not? Because you say so? Or Is this really the wink, wink, hint, hint that we might need to dig on chorus? Chorism. Then they say extensive, coextensive state which preceded it. You got to see the Khanate of Kiva. I said, well, since I know they're going to run me into a dead end with this chorism, just talk about stuff that's over there, right? At least let me see what they mean when they talk this Khanate of Kiva, because they're saying for the coextensive state we need that preceded it, we got to dig on the Khanate of Kiva. And you see how they put this chorism with the X right here. Just, pay attention. So it could be a K or a KH, or it could just be an X. They could also put a Q there if they wanted to. Or a C if they wanted to, right? Or a G. I mean, all this would be the same Khanate. Yeah, as soon as you click on that, they put that crescent and that dang on it, right? But let's get deeper, because they're talking quarryism. It's kind of like you got more. You know what I mean? Then you got more-ish, More means great, just in short terms, something, I want more Apple Jacks, you know what I'm saying? I want more rice cakes. I want more gold, I want more, of course you can connect it with the waters and all that, but, in essence, it's nobility, it's greatness, but you don't get no greater than seeking HaWa, right? So in keeping the code, you seek the creator, that's as great as you're going to get. So any more outside of that is more-ish, it's moreism. It's not more because you're not directly connected with HaWa and the code that Israel has as we return. These are the keys that unlock the David flow. And you notice they don't talk Dawi. It ain't like the Christians are pushing Dawi on us. And the Muslims not pushing Dawi on us. It seems like Dawi was at war against both their Christianity and their Islam, because we were connected directly with the code of the Creator. You are talking Israel. And Israel don't have no prophets outside the house of Israel. We got Hosea. We got Joshua. What do you mean? We got Moshe. We got Dawid, one shepherd. What do you mean? We got Jeremiah. We got Ezekiel. Elijah. What do you mean? So we're just talking about the house that's returned. Returning to seek HaWa and Khan Dawid. So since they say this preceded it, let's click on the Khanate of Kiva. Already got it up here. Now this flag of Kiva is only from the 1511 to 1920, or this flag is from 1917. This flag's from 1917. Well, they got the crescent, the Turkish thing, right? Right. I mean, connect this crescent situation, right? You got the Turks, you know what I mean? You got Turkey, you got all that popping off. You got the Mohammedan flow. You got the more-ish flow, right? And we're just figuring ourselves out. It's got nothing to really do with you. We're just, as a tribe, we're just returning, So this ain't no bashing and this and this. Not at all. It's all respect. It's all Ahab, but we gotta unravel this thing. And it hurts when we talk about our own brothers, being against us in these ways. confederate against us in these ways, making treaties on the headbone of Dragon Canoe and Tecumseh in these ways. It seems that they brought the adversary of adversaries on us on purpose. It seems that they hide behind a straw man that we call white people today, as if we can't get a definition of black and white. It seems like they're just as much responsible for the colorism of things, the checkerboard, as the worst of them. So at least as much responsible, but it really seems like they got all the juice behind their treaty. And it doesn't feel good for us to unravel this. But we don't see none of them stepping up to give us the real drop on us. It appears that only we can do that because they're taking care of their own tribe. They're taking care of their own Turco-Mongol tribe. Now we're talking Genghis. But now we're also talking their Muhammads. Back it up. The Khanate of KHIVA, Khatai, that existed in the historical region of Khwarizm in Central Asia. Where's Asia, my nigga? Come on, let's go. You better bring it all home, man. You've seen too many maps in the 1500s not to bring it on home. This is 1511. Where's our maps from? Oh, 1500. Okay, so we know where China is. We know where India is. Let's go. We know where Khatai is. We know where Asia is. And whether you're talking the Indias, right, Marco Polo's Asia, or this India Superior Asia, it's all generic terms for this pure land of this Naga we like to call Nagaville. See, all this is Nagaville. All this looks like you. Let's go. Because as they talking about Russia and the Ukraine today, all this is about Russia. My Naga, where's Russia? Right? Russia's connected directly with the Prester. The American is the Rushan, is the Rus, my Naga. These houses are connected. My Nagas was holding it. The Khans of Dawi were holding it down everywhere. They had to. They had to protect the land. They got to protect the vortexes of the three Indias. But now we're starting to keen in on which Asia, which India is superior, that they're looking for the Prester at. What's this KHIVA about? Gotta be about a Khan, eh? Here's where it gets fun. We touched on this with this KHIVA, right? So when they say KHIVA, just like Tao in the cities of gold, he's from Hiva, right? He's from the land of Hiva. He said that the land of Hiva was sunk and all this stuff. Kind of reminds me a lot of Japan. First, to be honest, because this Japan ain't on our maps no more. Now there's a new Japan, but this was look at these kingdoms popping up. Does this got anything to do with Hiva? Or are we talking about, across, in the Pacific, you know what I'm saying, and all the Mu connection. But let's go. We know it's all connected anyway. Again, the time period 1511. Except for a period of Afsharid occupation by Nadar Shah between 1740 and 1746. And again, they got KHIVA, and then they got KHIVA, right? And now here's the giveaway. Here's where the V's and the Vavs start coming back. Remember the Vav and the Wa? Back to the Hebrew. So in the modern 6 letter, they got Vav, V-A-V, knowing that that's coming from the W-A-W, like water, like that water. You got an issue with HaWa or Wa, you think that's hijacked somehow, take it up with HaWa, because this is Paleo-Picto-Hebrew. This is your water. You don't call your water yatter. This ain't ya. It's wa, my nigga. They changed the wa to a ya. They changed the wa to a va or a ve. Oy ve, right? But the ve is the wa, not the ya. And the ya's not the yud. Because the creator's name ain't worship. The creator's name ain't worship. But you're supposed to be in reverence and worship to what? Your breath, your revelation, your security, your HaWa, your breath of security, your secure breath. That Yud, hey, that's hijack free. That's beautiful, but that's not the creator's name. So you got that before you got your food. You got the name before you got your nourishment, my naga. Then you had a cut offness. It already, if you didn't get it by the time this was cut, then you're not going to understand the rest of the story. Not Yah and not Va, but Wa is the tent peg that is foundational. So we say this is your foundation, your hook, you're hooked in, you are now secure because you got that water, right? You got that breath. So how did the Wa change to the Vav, my nigga? And how did that change to an F, my nigga? Now you just say EFG, EF. F is the Vav, is the Wa. Wow. Because there's no F's in the Paleo-Picto, like there's no C's. So they changed the G to a C and the W to an F. It doesn't even show where they get their W. I guess that's just a hijack W now, right? Wow. So Vav is Wa. Got it. Let's go. Back to the Kane. So when they put the Ve on it, or the Va on it, hint, hint, we're just talking Wa. Hint, hint. Look how they put the HYWA, right? Getting closer. HaWa. Uh-oh. See how they put the X back on it? Like I told you, they're interchangeable with it. KHIVA or Shiva. Uh-oh. These Hindu, they venerate and worship this goddess called Shiva. But are they really venerating and worshiping you? Your priest queen, Sheba, Solomon's wife, or David's wife, Bathsheba. And these mothers, these queen mothers, these queens, these dragon queens, these Amazon high queens, would they have been considered as a, goddess of destruction as they were raining down fire from their dragons on the hijack? Would the hijack say, whoa, that is a goddess of destruction. She is popping off with her dragon. So this is those little nuances, these subtleties, what I'm saying, in the investigation that we see when we got Kiva and they put a X on, and we know that sometimes connects with the she, like the she. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Could we talking Genghis Khan invading the she? The she. Let's go. And is this really Sheba or Shiva, which is Sheba? Let's go. Okay, slow down. Let's slow down. South of the Aral Sea with the capital in the city of Kiva. So now they got a different Kiva over there, right? Everything's duplicated. The country was ruled by a Turco-Mongol tribe, the Khandrop, who came from Astrakhan. Sound like outer space, man. Astrakhan. It covered present-day Uzbekistan, southwest Kazakhstan, and much of Turkmenistan before Russian arrival at the second half of the 19th century. So here comes these Russians, right? So everything popping off today with Russia and all that stuff, man, is foundational Israelite, you know what I'm saying? It's Israelite foundation, you know what I mean? The Rus are Israel. Whether they are in that Asia or this Asia, it's a family, it's a clan, it's a tribe. It's the tribe connected directly in kindred with the kings and queens of Jerusalem. 1873, the Khanate of Khiva was much reduced in size and became a Russian protectorate. The other regional protectorate that lasted until the revolution was the Emirate of Bukhara. Following the Russian Revolution in 1917, Khiva had a revolution too, and in 1920, the Khanate was replaced by the Khorizm's People's Soviet Republic, incorporated formally into the Soviet Union. All this is happening right here, right? They're saying, I mean, this is where Russia would be, Russia, and all this stuff they're saying will be here, which connects right into the Prester John connection. But you have to see it with the right orientation. In Managa, do they have you on the east or the west? Go, go, go. Yeah, you on the right side in this British Museum in 1530. You ain't on the left, right? You're in the east, not the west. Body bag. Body bag, Daniel. Are you on the east or west? You are in the far east, Managa. You are east of their situation. Let's go, man. We out of here, boss. So they're connecting it with the Russia, you know what I mean? But that's the latter stuff. That's the 1800s, 1900s. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in reality, all this is the same thing, back in the 12th, 13th century. The Russian is the Khanate of Khiva. And we know, let's just keep talking Khiva. Let's keep talking Khiva. Let's keep talking Khiva. The origin of the name Khiva is unknown. Let's keep talking Khiva, right? Or are we just talking Shiva? And are we just talking Sheba? All right. How do we get here, man? We just read out of the searches for the imaginary kingdom, Prester John, about this whole war and this quarryism popping off with these Mongols, with the Khatai, Genghis Khan and them, which seems that they had stolen the Kara, the Kara title by this point. This Kora is this Kara. Even right here, they have it as Chora instead of a K, right? What, Chora now? Like, Kora is still Kara, like the Kara Khatai. So it seems that they just took it and, remixed this Kora, you know what I mean? This Kara Kara Kum. The KUM is the QUM is still cool. You can see through this stuff now, Managa. Like, we're dissecting Hijack City, man. Like, just check us out, man. Just check us out. Capitals were Kath and from the 16th century, KHIVA, right? So we said, let's dig on the KHIVA. The KHIVA is unknown as a name, letting us know what? They don't want to tell us nothing about it. And or when you get to the, understanding of it all, I mean, look, all they got is many contradictory stories to explain it. What does that tell you, boss? That it's very popular. And there's many stories that contradict each other about the origin of this unknown name, KHIVA. Who got the key, right? We're talking chi power. We're talking key power. KIVA. KIVA. KIVA is the same as Ka Ba or Kyber, or you drop the K, you're back to the Hiva or the Hebrew. It's also, with the W's interchanged back to the HaWas. So whether you're talking HaWa or Khyber, like Kiveria, remember the Khyber maps? The Kavera, the KHEEV, how they say? Kiveria. Oh, man, we are popping off by now. They love to Gene Madlock for this great recon, this old Dom, Native Americans, ancestors from India, or are we just talking India Superior? And this is when he broke down about this keyboard drop, man. I'm going right into it, man. I'm just belly flopping, man, because, you know, yeah, we belly flopping. About 5,000 BC or earlier, a brilliant, deified, meaning he's being worshipped just like Sheba, turning into Shiva, right? Brilliant, deified, Phoenician, synonymous with Hebrew, Managa, or more, right? Naga, well, Nagaville. So a brilliant Naga king, a deified Phoenician or Hebrew Naga king and philosopher named Kuvera. We're getting back to the Kiva. I just wanted to connect these things that we were talking about in the Prester hour and do a few more belly flops as we are surfing the wave. So this Naga king, okay, this is with a name that they're connecting it to. Naga king named Kuvera. Also Kubera, like Cuba, right? Like Cuba, right? Like Cuba, right? See how it's hiding everywhere. Learn how to smelt gold, copper. He got all these fine metals. These activities took place in the kingdom named after him, Khyber. Whoa. And we got before that, the Khyber is copper. So they're getting the word copper from Khyber. And Khyber is just like cyber, my naga. So we got the cyber, cyber networks and all that stuff today. Is Khyber, is copper, is Kubera or Kuvera, is Kivera. So this reminds me of this Kiva or Kivera. Consisted of a group of craggy mountains in what are now the southeastern Afghanistan. Hey, you know who Afghan is connected with Jeremiah, Khan? Go get that drop. Northeastern Pakistan. i.e., the Khyber Pass. According to Hindu mythology, Kuvera, watch how this plays, my nigga. The Kuvera and god Shiva. Whoa, didn't we just say that this Kiva is also being called with an X, Shiva, right? And the Shiva is Sheba, just like they put, you know what I'm saying, this Kiva is Cuba or Kubera. So these B's and these V's in Spanish, right, are very, the V sound is the B, you know what I mean? See how that works. But this also connects with this Shiva. So Cuba and Shiva lived in the totally barren, mineral poor, goldless, frigid, lofty, bell-shaped, or pyramidal peak of Kailasa in western Tibet. We got the maps with Tibet right here as well, right? So keep it all right here. The Khyber, its region is wealthy and abounds with rubies. Gold is found in the mines in its vicinity. Oh, back to the gold. Now watch this. We're talking about the Kiveri kingdom, right? We derived our word copper from Kuvera's name. Check it, man. Check it. You think we on this play talking about the Phoenician Hebrew connection. Eventually, the Nagas extended their influence over all India. Nagaville. We're talking India Superior. If you've intuited that Afghan Khyber is the Hebrew Heber, pronounced Kiver, the Egyptian Kipri, the Greek Kiber, Kaberia, Kypriotic, Kipri, Biblical Capernaum. We got to dig on this Capernaum. Arabic Kabar, Oldam Babo Kavari, Kaveri, Francisco de Coronado, cities of go. Search for the fabled Kavera. Now you see they switch it to a Q. Like I said, they can go with a C, a K. They can go to an X on your ass. They can go to a Q, but they're still talking the same key, Kivera, or Kiver, right? Or Kiva, yeah, for Sheba. But why do the Hindus and Buddhists worship Kuvera and Shiva, right? So almost sound like Solomon and Sheba, or you know, King David and Bathsheba. It sounds like a framer and shaper-ish type of flow, connectivity wise. Always represented with a priestly, male lineage and a priestly female lineage. We got the Davidas, we got Davids. Um, it all is, it's all happening. It's all rocking together. It's not either or. It's not that the Davidas are the Davids. It's that this title covers both the priesthood of the queens and the kings. Whether you're talking the Caliphs or the Davids, but not Kuvera and Sheba, right? All right, back it up. We're just talking about Kuvera. Yeah, man. And we was talking about that Anion map. See if I have it up over here. Still. We got a lot of drop popping off over here, man. See if I have any maps up. Got a lot of drop popping off over here, man. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have a good time belly flopping for a tremendous dismount, as we always do. Does North America exist? Oh, yeah. Still got that up? Oh, yeah. We popping off, man. Yeah, we're just talking Asia, Cathay, Florida. Body bag for you, for the illusion. No matter how many times we get it, South America connects directly with China. See how they spell it CHINE, just like the OWASP, right? We're talking about a man, a deliverer, India superior. South America connects directly, right? Mexico, Florida, India superior. Cathay, Cateo, Tangu, India, China, Manag. You got India, Florida. All right, so these maps, dig on it. All this is in your ether packs. Oh man. Um, See if I can pull up this anion drop again and again, cause we be digging on the anion. Might have to pull it up again for you. Yeah, we be back on we right back on these dog heads. I love talking about these dog heads, man, because that connects right on time with the more on more war. You see me, man. This is my Prester laptop, so I got Prester John investigation after Prester John investigation already queued up, hopping off over here, man. I think I might have something. Oh, I forgot I had this map up. Same thing. So that's Africa over here. So let's get, to this side of town. All right. So this is your Ethiopia, Africa. All right. You come over here. Bang. Terrazanta, which means promised land. You scroll up to what would be North America. What do you see here? Tibet. Bang. Tangu. Tibet. All the same route, we've been digging on, man. Tibet. Mangi. Tangu. This is what North America is. That's why we said, does North America even exist? We've been talking about Japan and the real Japan because the legend of Kapangu, which is also Zipangu, is about the land of gold. So when they talk about Kapangu, which some call Japan, it's another city of gold. And this is probably why they don't have it on the map anymore. It's another, what they want to say is Japan over there now, right? But we just see that on our map, Florida would be here and America would be here. I think they playing with us, boss. I think they on that play. No matter how many times we dig on it, it always comes back that you're in India, superior, not North America, China, Cathay. No matter how many times we dig on it. This is 1548. Well, Carte, Ptolemaeus Augustus. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna be belly flopping into these links, man, enjoying the flow. Cause, we earned it, man. Like I said, it's a victory lap for all my knockers. We're gonna get back in the medieval history of the Israelites, back on the San Benyan investigation as well. I'm just telling you what I have up for you, man. It's gonna definitely take us beyond Prester 100. Cause you see how this goes. We'll definitely get back on the orientation as well. I'm just seeing what I got up here, man. So, all right. Let's go. And so when they talk Kavera, and we pull up a map like this, 1602, Orbis Terrarum, Ortelius, South America. This would be a Mary, right? A Mary. And to the left, you see Kavera, so with a Q. Antioch, and it says Regnum. So these are kingdoms. These Regnum, Regal, all this is kingdoms. So whether you're spelling Kavera with a KHEEV or a QUIVIR, you're still, digging on this same Kivera. And we're still digging on maps that have to do with America, my naga. Which is why we say they just found us here in what's called the Quivera Regnum, noted in the North American West. They just talked about Coronado looking for the gold, right? Rich in gold with lordly rulers. Well, who's the lordly rulers? Who's the lordly ruler you're looking for? Boss man? You're looking for the Prester. So Portuguese searching, British searching, everybody's searching for the lordly rulers. They just finished calling him the deified, the brilliant, deified Phoenician Naga king. Then they're going to go ahead and tell you that the Kiva is the Hebrew Heber, or the Eber, my Naga. And there's a whole section named after this Eber. Eber got his own section. Quivera got his own section. The Quivera Regnum got its own section. Okay, that's all we say. That's all we say. That's all we saying. That the Kiber is also the Kiva, and that the Shiva, that they later call Kiva, is equivalent to Shiva, is equivalent to the Sheba, who was later deified the same way that this Phoenician king was deified. And they just brought them all together and says the Buddhists worship Kubera and Shiva because they're both being deified, but they started out as king and queen. Naga king and Naga queen became worshipped by the hijack. They worship you. They worship us. We worship HaWa. They worship us. You see what I'm saying? They got the whole game in the Twix, in the crux. And the cyber is the kyber, is the keber, is the kavera, is the copper, is the Heber, is the Hebrew. Get that through your mind bone when we talk Kiva. And look at this, man. Look at this, man. Check this out, man. So we're just talking quarryism, right? Cora. Now, the original name of Kiva is unknown, but we just connected it with Kibera, right? Kubera or Kuba. Uh-oh. A traditional story attributes the name to one of the sons of the prophet Noah. Uh-oh, boss. It is said that Shem, so they're going real specific, right? We just talked about Hebrew. Now they're going into Shem in a separate source, right? They're going into Shem over here. After the flood, he found himself wandering in the desert alone. Having fallen asleep, he dreamt of 300 burning torches. Or we just talking about 300 dragons, you tell me, man. But on waking up, he was pleased with this omen or this dream. He founded the city with outlines in the form of a ship mapped out. Maybe telling us where this ark is, huh? According to the placement of the torches about which he had dreamt. Then Shem dug the KHIVA well. Well, we talking that water? Yeah, we talking about the water, right? The HaWa or KHIVA well. Watch how this plays, right, in real time. So this water, the water from which had a surprising taste. Ooh wee, it gave you that life. Turned you back to 32. This HaWa well sounds a lot like the fountain of youth. Is it possible to see? It is possible to see this well in Econ Kala, an internal town of Kiva City, Managa. What's an internal town? I never heard of an internal town. I mean, is it a town that's internal? Like inside, like underground? Or are we talking about like tucked in the city? Like, what is an internal town? Y'all let me know, because this thing is in an internal town of Kiva City. So this key, right? Or they're going to show you how the Russians do this KH, right? So watch this, watch this. All right, watch this. Another story relates that travelers passing through the city. So here's the wing wham for real. Watch it. Upon drinking the excellent water. How do we get to the water? We just been looking at quarism to the Khan of Kiva, to Kiva. Now we're in Kiva as an unknown word, connected it with Kibera, Kavaria, Phoenician Naga, deified, back to Sheba. Man, I mean, we just surfing the wave. We surfing the wave, right? So we talking that water, that well water, right? Look how they spell Kiva, right? Put Kava, right? Let's go. Let's go. Upon drinking excellent water, these people, these travelers passing through the city would exclaim, Kiva. Watch how this wing wham plays for the dismount. So this Kiva means to them, what a pleasure. A wing wham city. And hence the city became known as Kiva, whence Hiva or Kiva. So this is a very popular story about the origin, which is still unknown, but they're trying to give you a hint. What does this Kiva really break down to? Some Anagas see it already, right? In Hindi, Kiva is equivalent to Sheba. Uh-oh. Let's go deeper. Interesting, a head of Shiva with Buddhist remains have also been found kept in Tashkent Museum. They got a head of Shiva, they say. Russian language. How do we keep getting to the Russians, right? How does all this keep tying in the Rus, my nigga? Now, their Russian language, used in the region for quite long, has no equivalent to H. And the closest alternative is KH. So the only reason why they're putting the key, the KH, is because there's no alternative to the H. Or else it would just be Hiva. They're throwing the K in KH here at the end and in the beginning, when it should just be the H, and the H. Like HaWa. It should start with H and end with H. Instead they put the KH because there's no equivalent of the H in Russian language. So what they're calling KHIVA is HaWa, and in the Pictopaleo, the hey, right, is the ha. And this vav is the what? Wah. So they don't expect us to break this down, Manai. They don't expect us to be breaking down Picto-Paleo Hebrew when we're reading about the origin of this Kiva in the wiki link. They don't got nothing to connect to Hebrew. They don't got nothing to connect to Paleo. We've already been doing it. We're in Prester John number 82. Manai. Do you see clearly that this water is named HaWa? It's excellent water. Excellent water, right? Anything to do with the fountain, anything to do with, David and Sheba, or the priest king and queen and Kavaria and HaWa. Hey, Va is Hey Vav. And Hey Vav is HaWa. They brought it to the Hebrew, Managa, because they said the Hebrew Eber is the same Kiver. It's the same Phoenician Naga called Kuver or Kuba, copper. Kuvera and Sheba is Hebrew. We gotta dig on the biblical Capernaum, because must be some breadcrumbs there. We're just talking Kiva or the HaWa water, because you got the water. And that, all came from this connection with this quarryism that we're reading out of the Searches for the Imaginary Kingdom of Prester John, which they say was shortened to Kiva. So, again, it's an unknown name. That's why we're surfing the wave, and I'm going to get a couple more links. Like I said, we're going to belly flop a few more links for the dismount. Try not to keep it too lengthy for 82. We've been doing 4-hour drops lately, so, we'll make a dismount real shortly, but, I'm just having fun with it, just like you, man. We're just surfing the wave. So we are getting a lot of drop out of this flow. Just for fun, I wanted to connect it with this history today, that one of the links that we almost basically started with, man, and get another link for the dismount and come back and just belly flop some more. In 1177, Pope Alexander III replied with a long letter to Prester John. The immediate occasion for this was a meeting by the Pope's doctor, one Philip, with some representative of the priest king while on the pilgrimage to the Holy Land. According to Philip, Prester John, a Nestor, right, old king renowned for wise counsel. Ain't talking Christianity today, dodge the hijack. Nestorian wished to embrace the Roman faith and build a church in Rome. Dodge the hijack. This is what they wanted him to embrace, their Roman faith. But if he had done so, then they wouldn't have converted the Americans, right? Because they found Prester in America, right? God, so he couldn't have been no converted Christian, or else they wouldn't have came here calling these people savages and converting him, convert or die over here. But it's all about this holy sepulchre of Jerusalem. When the Pope heard this, he promptly sent Philip as a bearer of a friendly letter to the Prester, where Philip went and what became of the letter is not recorded. It is possible that Philip had met in Jerusalem pilgrims from one of the remoter Christian communities of Central Asia and interpreted what they told him in the light of his preconceptions about Prester John. Doubtless the Pope, who had just emerged victorious from a long struggle with Frederick Barbarossa, saw no harm in letting it be known that he had established relations with this fabulous power in the East. The episode certainly received much publicity. Various versions of the Pope's letter are given in several English chronicles in the 13th century, included in the Prester John legend and its sources by Keegan Brewer. We're going to probably start with that for 83, Prester 83, because it has nothing but receipt on receipt, source on source, writing about King David, Prester John, you know what I mean, right there in that 13th century, you know what I mean? So there's nothing but sources writing about the Prester, calling him King David, Managa. And this is before Genghis. And then it shows you how Genghis Khan started calling himself King David after he took the title, which means he ain't King David. Genghis Khan can't be King David, and he can't be the Prester when he's at war against King David and stealing the title David and Prester. Hey, dodge your own damn hijack out there. In YouTube world, when they talk Prester John, they don't have the vibration to speak on the Prester. They just want to do it for the information to cause some type of discord, you know what I mean? And in the real, it seems like they're just trying to hijack the algorithm so that, as folks more and more wake up and search for David, search for Prester, that their information, would come up and hijack, you know what I'm saying, the investigation that we've been on, you know what I mean? They want to throw some type of distraction out there, to get people off the flow, but we know the real ones always see clearly. We know how this frequency war is. Let's get it from here. The Fourth Crusade, instead of bringing help to Palestine, sacked the Christian cities of the Constantinople and seriously weakened the remaining vigor of the Byzantine Empire. The Children's Crusade of 1212 ended in tragedy. The army of the Fifth Crusade, which landed in Egypt in 1218, sorely needed some deus ex machina to bring it to greater success than that met with in its predecessors. Hope for such help was suggested in the letter which Jacques de Vitry, Bishop of Ptolemais, wrote to Pope Honorius III in 1221. And it's interesting that they mention this Ptolemy thing because what do we see on this map right here to the left? Here is Ptolemy's India. Here is his India. Right here, right? Right where Mexico would be, right? Right by Japan, right? Right by Florida. So it's letting you know where they're looking for, man. At the same damn time. He reported that David, this is in 1221, King of India. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, boss, because we just talking India Superior, right? Right next to the Prester in 1530 in the British Museum. Right next to Mexico. But Moshe is China. Let's go. So in 1221, it's being written to Pope Honorius III. He reported that David, who is the king of India and descendant of Prester John, so we know that Prester John has a son David, and he got a son David, so we're following the title, had attacked the infidel with 3 armies, and that one of these armies was at the moment within 15 days march of Antioch. Here at last he wrote was the long awaited. They call him the hammer of the infidel because he's hammering all hijack. Man, he got that hammer. He's putting that hammer down. And this is what they want Genghis kind of look like today, right? This is what they want him to look like. Instead, this is what he really looked like. As it says, Genghis Khan is depicted as a black man in 1883 by a Russian painter, Smirnov. So we got the drop. We got the drop, my naga. We got the drop. We right here in India Superior. Nah, you ain't Genghis, man. Prester John, Genghis Khan. See how they. So this is what the hijack do without any recon. Understanding, we understand that this title was stolen by Genghis. And the Khan title was stolen by Genghis. But check this out. 1218, Mongols under Genghis Khan overthrew the Kara Khatai, right? Khatai is Cathay. So that's why on this map it says this is the Great Khan of China in the 1500. Cathay. By this time, it could very well be Genghis Khan and his people. Because they done took over for the last 200 years over here. By this time, overthrew the Kara Khatai Empire, which had in about 1211 passed under the control of the adventurer of the Naaman, right? And the Naaman are connected with the Kara. They're a specific tribe of Mongols, and Mongol just means great, like the great ones. By 1220, Genghis Khan had gone on to destroy the empire of the Khwarezm. And we just broke that all the way down to the Khatai, back to the Eber, back to the Kavera. So by the time they've taken the titles Khwarezm later, it's already been destroyed. The Israel Empire, David's kingdom has been destroyed by this time by Genghis. A powerful Islamic state which had been founded toward the end of the 12th century in the land between the river Oxus and Jakartes, however you say that, in which extended its influence over much of Persia. So we know that the Khan already was taking down the Persians. We already got that. He's called the Hammer of the Infidels. And we got this again at this Khwarezm, and even the Kara Katan, had, these Muslim forces under it as well. And by this time, they're saying it had a powerful Islamic state founded at the end of the 12th century. 1221, a flying column of Mongol troops dashed into Persia, nearly captured Baghdad, penetrated far into the Caucasus. David of the line of Prester John could only be Genghis Khan. Well, in 1221, by this time the David title had been hijacked. So anyone getting the drop after 1220, after 1218, Genghis had already overthrew Managa. Genghis had already destroyed Managa, which is why he is now being called David. And the only way that they'll put him in the line of the Prester is because that was his Khan father. That was like his uncle, you know what I'm saying? So this is why they're trying to connect Genghis Khan directly with David, who he wrote up on. Today, the picture of Genghis Khan is the role of savior of Christendom seems absurd. Well, because the Genghis Khan today ain't the same Khan that was, looked at as a savior to them. That's not the Prester. It seems absurd because you're not looking at the correct David or Prester. You're looking at the hijack that stole the title, which is why you're saying David could only be Sound just like the hijack out there, perpetrating, our investigation, right? I'm just talking to Drop Nation because we see clearly. There's always a reflection in the phantom. No matter what you're doing, somebody's going to try to duplicate it and create a phantom you. We've had that happen many times in the journey of Drop Nation, right? So we know a phantom when we see it, but clearly to say Prester John could only be, knowing that this is a title, is just absurd in itself. Absurd in itself. But the role of savior as someone trying to save these Christians, we know, was going towards the original Prester, not Genghis. In the early 13th century, it seems reasonable enough. It was well known that several nomadic tribes in Central Asia had embraced Christianity, even if the Mongol tribes were not of the faith. So if the Mongols were not Christians, you really think they converted Prester John? This is no reason why they should not be converted into genuine Prester Johns. Look at this, man. So they go from saying that Prester John could only be Genghis, and then they say that they want to convert genuine Prester Johns, showing that this is a title. They're proving to us that it's a title, while proving our point at the same time. So they're trying to convert people into genuine Presters. But by that time, there ain't no genuine Prester. They got Christianity popping up. And if these nomads or these Mongols were not Christians, neither was Prester. These are Hebrew priest cons. Pope Innocent the Fourth, who was elected in 1243, certainly thought along these lines. He had been told that the Mongols worship one power, one God, right? One power. Uh-oh. So they weren't some savages with no belief. They believed in one power. Which one? Which power? We making a dismount. Don't trip. Don't trip. We just seeing how Genghis, what you do need to know is that even this comparison itself, the reason really why it seems absurd is that David has been lost. So even that Genghis Khan is claiming to be David in itself is just more validation of how important the David title is in the 13th century, in the 1200s. Because as today, the picture of Genghis Khan as a role of savior seems absurd. But, when you recon to David and, you understand that you're seeking HaWa and King David in the end of days, you now see the connection, of what this David really means. This is HaMashiach connection. It was well known that several tribes, nomadic tribes, had embraced Christianity. Well, they can't confirm or deny, but we know that definitely some tribes did embrace, Islam and Christianity. But they're trying to convert genuine Prester Johns, right? Which became their popes today, Manak. The Pope is a phantom of what the Prester is. So Pope Innocent the Fourth, who was elected in 1243, certainly thought along these lines. He had been told that the Mongols worship one power and were not without some religious beliefs. Okay. The Mongols, moreover, say they have St. John the Baptist for chief. Uh-oh. What does it mean to have St. John the Baptist for a chief? If John is their chief, then they got to be asking the same thing, right? Who is Prester John? Emperor or chief of the mixed multitude, or the Mongols, or the Greats, or the Abyssinians, or the Ethiopians, or the Indians, king of the Indians, King David, Mana, Chief John Juan. So reported a Russian bishop who had fled to France to escape the advancing Mongol hordes, innocent, resolves resolved to try to establish some sort of relations with the Mongol. 1245 Friar John, look, this is all happening in the 1200s, 1300s, leading up to the 1400s, when they say they discovered you in America, right? But did they discover you in America, or did they discover you, Managa, in India Superior with the Prester? Because North America don't exist. So all this 1200s, 1300s is very relative to what led up to searching for you. These crusades were all about searching for you, Managa. Searching for you, Managa. Searching for the copper-colored Khans. The copper-colored race is found here by the European 1828. Rest in power online. 1828. John Plano Carpini was sent by the Pope to carry letters to the Mongol Khan, and there can be little doubt that among his instructions was a request to clear up the mystery of Prester John. It's a mystery now, right? His conclusion was that the Mongols were not the people of the priest king, but his information about who Prester John was not so definite and varies according to different versions of the narrative which he wrote on his return from his mission. Carpini made a passing reference to the Black Cathayans. We're talking the Khatai, right? Khatai, who he claimed were Christian in all but name. So they weren't really Christians, but they had other attributes that reminded him of Christianity. So they were Christians and everything but the name. They're like Christians. They're Christian-ish, right? Just call them Hebrew priest kings. Rocking with the Tanakh, not the New Test. Nestor. Old kings renowned for wise counsel, right? They had recently been conquered by the Mongols, but the Prester was not among these people. He had moved to the adjacent land of, India Major. Managa India Major is India Superior. And if they're talking about an adjacent land, and it kind of reminds us of this map again, where you got Asia here and you got Asia here. So did he move over here, or was he already here in India Superior? I mean, we're seeing clear India Major for the dismount. If one is permitted to interpret the Black Saracens, who are also called Ethiopians, as a reference to the Kara, as a reference to the Kara, as a reference to the Kara. And every time they talk Saracen, remember when we talk Russia, we're talking you, we're talking and Rus. These Ruses are Russian. Russia are the Mongol or the great ones of the Kara Khatai. They're saying a Saracen, man. The crest says a Saracen's head. Victrix Fortuna Sapientia. Wisdom is the conqueror of all fortune, man. Mama. Big Mama, right? The Rus is on fire. It's only related to the lost tribes of Israel identity, which is you, Red Ruddy Khan, which is you, Red Ruddy Khan, Amaru Khan, which is you, which is you, which is the Rus, Russia, Manak. My my Phoenician Naga king. We're just talking Kaveri or copper. Okay, okay, okay. So India makes these black Saracens, right? We know what a Saracen's head looks like. Ka, check, check, check. Also called Ethiopians. Ka, we know what an Ethiopian looks like, especially when he's the emperor of the Abyssinians, or that's the term that predates Ethiopia, Abyssinian. So we know what an Abyssinian or Ethiopian looks like. Red Ruddy Khan, found in America, Manai, right? Ethiopia, as a reference to the Kara, which they just called the Black Khathayans, Kara or Black. This is who they're just calling burnt faced Ethiopian black people, right? But their definition of an American is a copper color. Race is found here. Copper color, right? I said copper color. I'm just talking lost tribes of Israel for the dismount. Is black Khatai. And the Khatai is the Cathay. Is the black Khatai. And where's Cathay? For the dismount. Cathay, Cathay by Florida, Barbados, Cathay, Mexico, China. Who's China? China is a deliverer, right? A man living at the same time as Moshe. He got called up to heaven in a ship of light. Am I knocking? This ain't no play. It is worth noting the term Ethiopia was so imprecise. It's not talking about a specific place or territory. It is imprecise. It is vague, says Ronald Sanders in the Lost Tribes and Promised Land. Get it out the Drop Library at 432thedrop.com. Not to justify its location in Africa. They can't justify Ethiopia being in Africa because it's imprecise without supporting evidence, which in this case is not present. Prester John lived beside these black Saracens. Genghis Khan tried to invade his land, which means that Genghis Khan ain't Prester John. Body bag. I mean, come on. This is Prester 82. 82, man. But Genghis Khan invaded his land, was repelled by the Prester. So Genghis Khan invaded America, man. Probably right through these Straits of Anion here, right through Kaveri or Tangu. Let's go. He was repelled by the Prester, who sent against the invading troops what sounds very much like explosive charges fastened to the back of horses. And we'll be hearing that he had that, what's called Greek fire, you know what I'm saying? But some serious ammo or dragon fire. Explosive charges sound like that dragon fire set off at the right moment by suicide soldiers. Come on, man. But another version, yeah, there's always two or three or 200 versions of each story. Carpini's account told a different story. Prester John and his son David, see? So the Genghis roll up on Prester or his son, described as kings of India, to whom the Mongols used to pay tribute. But we just read that this Muhammad didn't want to pay tribute no more. We're going to get that for the dismount, man. Genghis Khan, however, put an end to this practice by invading the land of the Prester and defeating King David. Now, did he defeat Prester or his son David? And is this the same as David's Sawsling we've been digging on? Son of Raja Hiraja Chola II. The victorious Prester is in the tradition of the stories 1145 and 1221. The defeated Prester fits in with the traveler's tale of the second half of the 13th century. And this victorious Prester will be called Genghis because he stole the Khan. The defeated Prester, right, would be us, our kingdom, David, now being replaced with a new David, a new Khan, and a new Prester. And we'll pick it up, some more. Like I said, we're making this connection. We've been talking about Quraism. Now let's talk about Muhammad II and connect this a little with the Genghis flow. He's the Shah. The Shah is like the chief or the Khan of the Khwarezmian Empire from 1200 to 1220. So this is during the time that Genghis Khan is invading Prester John. Are these the same people? Is Muhammad II another name for Genghis Khan? This is what we talked about last time in the Prester Hour, right? So his ancestor was Anushatikin Gurkha, Turkic Gulen, right? These Turks, are these Moors? Are these, Moabites, Ammonites, Canaanites, right? So who eventually became a viceroy of a small province called Khwarezm. He is perhaps best known for inciting the Mongol conquest of the Khwarezmian Empire, which resulted in the utter destruction of his empire. So he popped it off. He made sure that they destroyed you, this Muhammad. He made sure they destroyed us, right? Yeah. This is the same time that Genghis is being invaded, 1202. Muhammad II used this opportunity to invade the domains of the Gurd Empire, besieged Herat. So he's invading at the same time as Genghis Khan. However, managed to repel him from Herat. Didn't we just read that Prester repel? Didn't we just read that? Didn't we just read that? Genghis Khan tried to invade his land, but was repelled by the Prester, right? Oh man, this is getting good. And the same Muhammad invaded at the same time, was repelled at the same time. I pursued him in Khwarezm, besieged Gurganj, his capital. Muhammad desperately requested aid from the Khatai Khanate, who sent an army to aid Muhammad. Muiz, because of the pressure from the Khatai, was forced to relieve the siege and retreat. However, on his way to the domains of Gur, he was defeated in Angbud in 1204. Man, it seemed like it's all happening. Muhammad instead invaded the domains of Giyath, capturing Bak and Termid. However, during his invasion, he was captured by the Khatai Khan. So either the Khatai Khanate is helping him, or the Khatai Khanate is capturing him. And I guess that's because the Khatai has both forces of the Prester and, the Muslim forces. So at this point, he's being captured. Yeah, so I know it gets, real interesting when these titles are being transferred and someone else is taking these titles. Now, using this Kara banner, or they're using the Khatai banner, or the Saracen banner, or they're using the David or the Prester banner. You know what I mean? The Israel flow. Remember, they're going to be in your tents, my niggas. And last one we'll just dig on. I'll leave you with this great link here, just connecting some of the drop as well. from a different perspective, bringing in some of this magi flow. Prester John was supposed to be a descendant of the magi, possessor of great wealth. It appears that Hugh, and they're talking about Hugh of Jabala, Bishop Jabala in 1145. This is just breaking down, how when it says these Turkish powers became a serious threat, right? This is the same Moorish powers, right, that are threatening who they're calling the Crusader kingdoms. You know what I mean? Now, both of them are enemies of the Hebrew, these Turks and these so-called Crusaders. So Prester doesn't have a dog in the he ain't got a dog head in the fight. He's like, y'all handle it, but really they both want the promised land. They both want the promised land. Now Hugh told the Pope about a certain Prester John. They're calling this Christian or this Nestor priest, this Hebrew priest and king. So he's a priest and king, which makes him a Prester, right? A priest king, whose kingdom was at the extreme orient or the far east. I ask you again, if they put you in the east or the west? Let's go. Supposed to be a descendant of the Magi. Magic, powers, energy, frequency, Manak, Drakan, let's go. Possessor of great wealth. This is your lineage. This is what they're after, cities of gold. Rumors circulating in Europe that he was going to come to rescue the Crusaders. Okay. And Hugh wasn't to emphasize that this would not happen, as Prester John was cut off from the Middle East by the Tigris River. 1165, a letter allegedly from Prester was delivered to Emmanuel Comnenus of Byzantine. And they don't know if it's a forgery or if it's real. It's being translated in all these languages. They're talking about the infidel Turks, right? Back to the more. And I got a piece of this letter here. It says, let's see, I'll pick it up here because they like to put all this Christ business. They like to translate it with all this, I'm a zealous Christian. Ooh, I'm a Christian. Let's just get right into it. For gold, stones, animals of every kind, and the number of our people, we believe there is not an equal under heaven. We got the gold, we got the dragons. If again thou ask, how is it that the creator of all, having made us the most super potential, and most glorious over all the mortals, does not give us a higher dignity or more excellent name than that of priest, Prester? Let not your wisdom be surprised on this account, for this is the reason. We have many ecclesiastics in our retinue of more dignified name and office in the church and of more considerable standing than ours in the divine service, for our house steward is a patriarch and king. Our steward is a king. That's why Prester didn't call himself a king. The kings were working for him. He's the Prester. That title is the highest title of the entire land. It's the title of the Khan of Khans, the Rex Nagus. Our cupbearer is an archbishop and king. Our chamberlain is a king and bishop. Our archimandrite, that is chief pastor or master of the horse, is a king and an abbot. Whereof our highness has not seen it repugnant to call himself by the same name and to distinguish himself by the order of which our court is full. And if we have chosen to be called by a lower name, an inferior rank, it springs from humility. The only official response to the letter was that Pope Alexander III sent out a papal emissary in 1177 with the letter for Prester John, carried by his physician Philip. So we got that piece in a separate link. Magister Philip But nothing was ever heard of what became of him. Years later, in the mid-13th century, when Asia was opened again to Europeans by the ascendancy of the Tatar, the great search began to find this Prester John, a search which was very important, opening up Asia and reestablishing ties with China. Though he was not found, never found, his legend continued throughout the Middle Ages with kings and popes sending off letters at different times, seeking his help, and dreams of his riches, filling the heads of many cities of gold. Everybody want the gold. Everybody want the gold. The Khatai were a tribe that had ruled much of China in the late 10th century as the Lao dynasty. So we got to dig on the Lao dynasty and the Jins, right? Because they were seen to be, side by side. As their dynasty collapsed in 1125, a body of the imperial family escaped to Central Asia, where they established a new empire under the Turkish tribes called the Khatai. So they were already the Khatai, and then they had a new empire formed called the Khatai or the Black Khatai. Black being a term of honor at that time. Okay. 1141, in their expansion to the west, they met the eastward, reaching kingdom of the Seljuk Turks of Persia. In a battle fought September 8th or 9th in 1141 at Khatai, near Samarkand, Yelu Tashi, ruler of the Empire of Khatai, defeated the Sultan Sanjar, the Seljuk Turk, ruler of Persia. So these Khatans were used to beating up on these Turks, man. Used to beating up on these sultans, man. It's a more and more war. Reports of this great victory over the Turks reached the Crusader kingdom soon after, and included was the rumor that Yellow Tashi was a Christian. That was a rumor, Managa, which appears to be unlikely. So they keep trying to put these Christian titles on these Hebrew priest kings, but it is unlikely, based perhaps on a confusion between the Khatai and the Kharites, a Christian Nestorian tribe from Central Asia. Or these are all Nestorians, and these are all Khatais. And the only confusion is that they were not Christians. But they don't want to say that they are Hebrew Israelites, right? So they had to base the confusion on, really semantics, you know what I'm saying? But the Kara are the Kara. And we know that for sure. Now, whether they're hijacking the titles later or not, these Nestorians are the same as these Yellow Tashi Khatai. By the 14th century, all searches for Prester John and his kingdom in Asia had turned up empty. They couldn't find the Prester. Rather than give up on this hopeful and glamorous legend, however, Europeans decided that they must have been looking in the wrong region, and they turned their eyes on the interior of Africa. Which one? Nah, but another body bag. If they're looking for King David in Africa, you already know what he's looking like, right? So they can't make him no white man, right? Searching for him in Africa. But this was spurred by the fact that there was an actual Christian kingdom there, the Nestorian kingdom of Abyssinia or Ethiopia. So this is when they finally put a place and a specific designation to Abyssinia or Ethiopia. Before that, it was anywhere where black people, so-called, are found. Now that they've put it in Africa, now they're saying he must be in Africa. That's why it was spurred by the fact that there was an actual Christian kingdom there, the Nestorian kingdom of Abyssinia. So because this place is there, it's spurring them to look there in the interior of Africa. Come on, man. Hijack City, the mysterious Abyssinian pilgrims sometimes visited the Holy Land, and though their kingdom was rumored to be bordered by inaccessible mountains, what better place to put the kingdom of Prester John? Eastern Africa was sometimes conflated in European thinking with the Indies. But Naga, you are in India, Superior, Florida, Mexico, Khatai, Khatai, India, Managa. So when they keep saying it was confused with this European thinking, Africa was confused with the Indies? Nah, Indies is another vague term for everywhere Nagas are. But this is India Major or India Superior, and that's why they settled on and said, oh, Prester John is right here in India Superior in America, North America. But does it even exist? India Superior for the dismount. I mean, I can't make this stuff up, man. We can't make this stuff up, man. Eastern Africa was sometimes conflated in European thinking with the Indies. Okay, okay, okay. And so here must be that great Christian king of the East. Okay. The Portuguese sent several expeditions to make contact with this kingdom, and the reports which came back further confirmed the belief that finally Prester John had been found. Thus, the venerable legend moved to a new continent, and it was in Africa that Prester John's kingdom was thought to lie when the earliest printed maps made their appearance. The most famous map showing Prester, Prester John's kingdom was a map by Abraham Ortelius, first showed in 1573. That's funny. That's funny because 1573, Managa 1573 is about 43 years after this map. So if you're saying that Prester John showed up in Africa in 1573, 40 years earlier, it showed up in America. Prester John shows up in America 40 4 decades earlier. He's in America, but they don't tell you that, right? The legend eventually passed from common belief, but not before leaving a few maps illustrating this wonderful myth. Now it's a myth, right? They turned you into mythology. Invisible Nagas in the invisible kingdom of Prester John. And this is the Prester Hour, installment number 82, searching for King David. Because once Israel returns, seeks HaWa, we begin our search for Prester John. All praise HaWa. All praise our, secure breath. All praise our, everlasting power. And they deify us because we had so much drop. We are the copper. We are the kyber. We gonna touch back in and check back in on, Antioch. Because that's all we talking about. Caveira, Florida, Mexico, Cathay. The Caveira region is noted in the North American West. Rich in gold, with lordly rulers, my naga. Fabled land of treasure. Yeah, another mythical kingdom, man. We just talking Antioch, noted in the Northwest, reflecting more of the stories told by the conquistadors of gold and wealthy empires supposedly found in the North American continent. I don't think we can make this stuff up, man. Antioch, all praise to HaWa, keep the water flowing and keep the fire burning. And I'll see all my knockers in the next installment, number 83. We popping off from the Prester John Legend and sources. Ahab the Aqua Type at on for the PDF. Get it in the drop library at 432thedrop.com. And the water for all my niggas continuing to drop that drop and the drop chatter, chatter. We really appreciate you for that, man. And my bro Fat Con always dropping drop. We appreciate you for that steady water, my noggin. Go get that Fat Con drop, man. Hey, love the little fat right here, man. Bon is popping off. And his eyes are wide open, Con. My Con's eyes are wide open. And our eyes are wide open, man. We, connecting what we doing, man. Get the Mop Pack 1. Continue to open your eye bones. You know what I'm saying? And pop off. We got more bundles coming in hot, and you can get my pack on the low for only $18 still. 61 tracks. 61 tracks of Five Eyes, my MHOE Tribe Up Music. My Naga, we building the fence. And you've been supporting that. You know, every way you're doing it, Cash App, PayPal, making sure our fence is built. You could always come to the site, scroll all the way to the bottom, bottom, and just click on that Joy World link. Support Joy World. And my Knox is in here, making it happen, staying active for us. 12,541. We need to get to the 20,000 mark at least to complete this beautiful fence project. Cedar wood over an entire acre of land in Utah. Hey, out to the anonymous family, contestant Taylor, I see you. We're doing this for Naga, feel my Naga. Red. Hey, white linen gold thread. Exodus got us in code, man. 500 code keepers where you at. Allah HaWa, please continue your Baruch for Nagaville, for Joy World. Keep the fire burning. Allah HaWa.